need to find this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here. 444 Spearway. Oh, turn.
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time. The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
And I think that one of the things that people should do this now really is kind of start doing an assessment on themselves. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, you and I have the same brain waves, and because we're talking about tips and preparing this. The first thing is, well, everybody should have an assessment of their life right now, what's important to them, what do they want, the goals. I find it was for a new year, especially this year for some reason, maybe because what you're saying, Kellee, is to write the goals, what they want to accomplish, and have a clear indication of what you want to accomplish this year, and really clarify that and assess what's important to you. What are your values?
Well, and where are you right now? And really be honest if you can look at it. Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you in a bad relationship? Are you wanting to change, get healthier? Are you sick? Are you things like that? Now, one of the things that I always suggest is also at the same time making a list of gratitude. Like, what are you grateful for? But then also at the same time making a list of where are you right now? Like, let's just, see where you are at this exact moment.
Kellee, every time that it's really for many, many years now, and I think it happened just naturally, but it's been a reoccurring annual type of a behavior for me. It's at the end of the year, beginning of the year, I'm always in a clean out, decluttering mode. I'm always in that kind of normal reassessment of what's going on. So I'll clean the house out, like I threw my 30 years of CDs and cleaning out all the stuff I don't need anymore. I find that's very valuable for people to do that now for a new year, is to go kind of clean what's going on within you.
I think it's a great idea because then you start to create space. And I'll tell you, when you have more space, it's amazing. All of a sudden you start to feel a little more creative. You might start to feel energetic. You might start to feel better about things.
Yeah, creating space for yourself. It's really, really true. And it's funny, before I was thinking about the show, and it really clearly came through to me. This is a good time for them to change their perspective. Change their perspective of who they are, of the world they're in, of the people in their lives. And then I got another thing, which was really interesting out of that. See it from another person's point of view. So see things from another person's point of view. And then I was like, well, what does that mean? And then I had this thing came over me of, you can imagine that you're with someone, like, it could be a partner, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, but become them looking at you. And then the thought came, when you interact with someone, you realize that how they look at you and how you're seeing them, you're looking at every experience that person's ever had in this lifetime. And what are you bringing up for them? You can stir up all these different emotional experiences with them, situations with them, mental things, traumas, happy times, good times. So, when you meet someone or you're talking with someone, you're seeing many, many layers, if you will.
Yeah.
And so see from their point of view, this whole thing of seeing from their perspective, looking at yourself, how do they see you? And it's just an interesting exchange.
I love that idea. And I love that changing the perspective. I'm always into looking at different lenses, and the lens of seeing of what you're describing is a wonderful tool, because then it might evoke from somebody empathy.
Empathy, to see it from someone else's POV. Change your POV, your point of view. Change your POV and open it up to other ways of thinking, other ways of experiencing things. For instance, I was, I don't know where I was, doing the dishes or something, and I was just in my head as we daydream or think about things, and I heard someone say to me, they don't have life skills. They don't have the proper life skills, so they don't know any better because they don't have proper life skills. They weren't taught certain things. So we cannot expect them to behave a certain way if they don't know how to behave, because they were never taught those life skills. And that made a lot of sense.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And the other thing I was thinking about today goes along with that is that, and you and I talk about people that are unconscious all the time.
Yesterday we talked about
just talking about it yesterday. Here's what I think about consciousness. It's a constant, because you might think you're totally conscious, and next thing you know, it's like there's another level of consciousness that hits you.
So true. It's so true. It's really, really true. I always kind of I'm aware of what's going on, but I'm always the observer. And I think it's really great to be in that space of you're the observer. You don't have to act in something. I'm sorry, honey. You just have to be present and be aware, and don't space out. Be in the body. We're here to be in the body, not the, it's so funny when we get this new age, which is old age, think, oh, you're going to get so spaced out and that's really spiritually really out there. No, it's just the opposite. You have to really be grounded in the body and be grounded, being aware of everything around you and how you're interacting, because each moment counts. And we've got to be active with each moment. It's very important.
It's very important. And I loved how you just said that and how you phrased that, because when we're in that moment, you're very present. And when you're very present, you can observe and receive all kinds of messages, things that you would have missed totally.
And Kellee, if you can be observant without a judgment, non-judgmental, just observe without a judgment, just observe and see what it's.
That would be for a lot of people a challenge, and a challenge is always an opportunity. So maybe one of the challenges, challenge yourself this year, is not to be so judgmental, or not to be judgmental, because you don't know what that other person has gone through.
It's very true. And another one would be for people, what you would like to do is, what would happen? You can maybe write a page on this, or type a page, or write in your journal. What would happen if you let go of control?
It's a great one.
What
would happen? Right?
If you let go of those things you want to control, what would happen? And just write it down. What would happen, actually? And you'll probably find out nothing. The world would still go around, and the days would turn the nights, and so forth and so on. And wow, it didn't really need you to control it. It did what it did. It did naturally. Right. The only thing you can control is how you respond to things. But you can't control other people. And the moment we let ourselves be free of that, it's a freeing. It's an opening, as you say. It's creates space, and that's where you truly live. Because it was so really connect with holding on to something and controlling something. We're really limiting ourselves and our
completely we are. And another thing to look at is, are you negative?
Yes. So
negativity
in your assessments, negative, because like attracts like. And if you're negative, if you're depressed, or you're down, you're drawing that to you, because we're magnets. And we're going to draw negative people to us, negative experiences to us. And all you have to thank is yourself for that. It's not
totally. Let me read this, James, because I thought this was a lovely statement. It's short. It says, once upon a time, there was a Native American elder who was telling his grandson a story of two wolves. Speaking of wolves.
I know this story.
You know this one? That live in each one of us and wage a daily struggle for dominance in our lives. One wolf is filled with love and joy and hope and peace and gratitude and optimism and generosity and understanding, humility, kindness, truth, faith, and compassion. And the other is a reflection of bitterness, envy, anger, sorrow, guilt, greed, arrogance, self-pity, inferiority, lies, ego, selfishness, and judgment. Their struggle is constant, their determination to win unwavering. So, which wolf wins? Asked the grandson. The grandfather responded, the one you feed.
Yeah, it's true. So
I love
true.
That.
Good one.
Yeah.
So true. You are what you think. You are what you say.
Right.
I was listening to some music, and Into the Woods, Broadway musical, and the great about, children will listen, and it's words have power. Be careful of the words, the slightest because it's energy, and your words have energy. One of the first experiences I had this year was a person I know, and I had to say right away to them, beginning of the year, first day or second day, don't send negative energy. Don't speak like that, because words have power, and you're putting you're putting limitations out there with your words, and you can't do that. Words have power, and they get all over you, and they get all over the space, and they go where they're directed, and it's intention.
Yes.
And you got to be mindful of what the words that you say, and they have power. So how you treat yourself is really, really important. So, loving yourself is a way to do it. This is Anne Margaret wrote this. What about a year without resistance? Anne Margaret just wrote that.
Oh, I love that. Thanks,
one.
Anne Margaret.
Great. It's a great one.
I love that.
And just be, don't be, don't get to do everything. Just, first of all, breathe. Breathing really helps, getting to the breath.
Well, breathing really helps, especially if you're having an anxiety moment, or if you're anxious about something. Breathing really does help, because it changes the brain waves.
And it's funny, because I was talking to Kellee about the show that I was watching. We watched it on Netflix. And I wrote down some notes on it because it was really, really powerful. And the psychiatrist said it was a show on pills.
It was called Xanax.
Take your pills, Xanax.
Yeah, take your pills, Xanax.
Psychiatrist, and really interesting. And one lady said, I wrote it down. It was so fascinating about anxiety. And it's the same type of thing you're talking about, which wolf you feed, because you can have a calming moment in your behavior. Let's say create a biological state of relaxation. So we can do that. We can create a state of relaxation through meditation, through mindfulness, through loving creative work. Because if you have a biological state of relaxation, it can actually disrupt the anxiousness experience, anxiety. You can't have both. So it's anxiety or relaxation. So which one do you want?
I love that one, that statement. Right? I loved it. And the other one I liked that they talked about is social connection will help with anxiety.
They were talking about being alone. That's one of the worst things, is to be alone. And there was a psychiatrist, one of the psychiatrists talked about COVID. She decided that she couldn't go to the gym. She couldn't be out there. So she decided to volunteer at horse paddocks and clean the horses and clean out the stalls. And she said,
I wrote that down too, James. Yeah. I'll tell you why horses are so healing. And it got her out. And I thought that was wonderful. And volunteering, doing something good for the world makes you feel better.
Make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah.
And it's funny we talk about the horses, because next week I had these two ladies who are filmmakers, and they're staying at my house because they're filming a documentary on the connection between humans and horses in the brain, the neurological connection.
Wait, were these the women that were on our show?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, they're coming next week to film here, so I invited them to stay at my house.
Oh, you have to tell us all about it. This is going to be exciting.
I will, maybe Monday night they'll come on the show if they're around here.
Oh, I would love that.
The next week will be an interesting week because I'm filming and they're filming.
I think that's great.
This is interesting. She also mentioned, which I love, lose yourself in the doing.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Lose yourself in the doing. Don't think about it. Just get caught up in the doing of something. And if it's something positive for helping someone or making the world a better place or your space a better place, one person, get lost in the doing of it. And I love that.
I love that. Another one, James, was this one. It's okay to feel feelings, but feelings are not facts, and thoughts are not facts.
Really, really good. It's good.
We were taking the same notes.
Of course. And then I wrote down, which I wrote this before. I wrote it down, and then I watched this movie, and it was on the movie. Create a new mindset, which is, of course, we just talked about new perspective, POV.
Yeah.
Create a new mindset this year. How do you want to live your life this year? What's the mindset?
Right.
What's the mindset? Your life.
Right.
You know,
right.
You don't repeat last year. Just what's going to be new about it? What's going to bring you happiness? What makes you happy? And
it could be learning something new. It could be taking a class. It could be doing something that you've always wanted to do. This would be a great year for that.
I decided I'm taking art classes.
You are?
Yes.
What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to do an art class. I'm sure it'll be in oils or acrylics or watercolor. I'm not sure yet, but I'm putting that out there. So I'm going to have to research it still. But that's something I've always wanted to do. And, I lived in Madrid for 17 years. And it's, of course, there was an artist colony. And I wanted to paint. I never did it. And I here in San Diego, and I still have all my supplies. And I'm going to do it this year.
I think it's great. My assistant, Carissa, she started doing clay work.
It's great.
And she's loving it. Yeah.
Something creative, that creative energy, a creative flow, because I think it's always good to do something new, to create something new, to do something new. So even down to changing the closet, like the different clothes in the drawers, changing up the drawers with different things, putting the stuff in the top drawer down the bottom drawer, and very Virgo of them.
Well, and also, how about driving home in a different direction?
Driving home in a different direction. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Looking at new things that you may not have seen before.
Cleaning out your closet.
Yeah, would be a great thing,
It's funny, but the thoughts are not facts. You're so funny.
And another one, they talked about breaking chronic patterns and habits.
Right.
So you have to really kind of, what are your patterns that are habits that you would like to change this year? Again, this is a great year if you want to make a change in anything like that. And it doesn't have to start off so dramatically. A little change. Like I started drinking every morning lemon water, a real large lemon water. And I love it. I just squeeze a lemon. I put my little minerals in it. And it's
weird you're telling me this. It's just
no, are you doing that too?
No, I was just talking to our friend Joe skiing, and
Okay.
he said his wife had some kidney stones, and he said she's on lemon water. And I said, yeah. Lemon. And I just talked to him about a tea with lemon. And
Oh,
you should drink it, and here we
okay.
are.
Here we are. Okay. So here's the other thing. That's funny you would say that. I discovered Scottish breakfast tea.
Never heard of it.
It's so good. So, you've heard of English breakfast or any of that. It's just a black tea. But I tell you what, I love that. And I love this green tea that I'm drinking. So I'm drinking a lot of more teas during the day.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. Kellee, teas about 2 hours ago on the online.
I'll tell Joey's right on.
And I wrote down natural herbal teas. Well, natural herb. Also, natural herbs handle stress that way. Oh, one thing you said before, you just said, I just got back. Look when you're, those chronic patterns that break. Look in your life and see who's not supporting you, and what are you holding on to that is not supporting you? Why do you hold on to it? In your assessment, why are you holding on to these things? What do you hope to get from them? What's satisfying from it?
Well, it's funny that you're talking about that because when you and I have had to let go of a lot of people in our lives.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
And
lifetime, sure.
Oh my gosh. And sometimes when the thought of letting go of somebody is just almost too much because once you do it, it can be very disruptive or it could cause you to be depressed or sad or whatever. But ultimately, if that person doesn't fit, as you said today in your show, a season, a reason, or a lifetime. I mean, it really does. It really is that,
And you wear I hate to say it, but there's an expiration date sometimes.
Yeah.
With friendships, with relationships, with work, with, in our lives, there are some expiration dates. So.
I learned a great thing. It was a couple weeks ago or so, and it was sometimes bridges are to be burned.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I thought that made sense.
Well, I think you have to take care of yourself. You have to really, and it's funny because you have to love yourself enough to say no. You have to love yourself enough to say no, and not repeat certain chronic patterns or behaviors, or even with people that have been around you. Again, if someone is not supporting you, and I always say, and you and I have talked about that. If you have friends and it's not a 50-50, I won't do it. I won't work for friendship. I will not do it. And I've gotten rid of that because I'm sorry, I'm worth being a friend to,
Definitely.
It's like people don't get that. And I know we're all busy. We're all busy. And people make excuses all the time, different things. Well, if it's not heartfelt, then it's not heartfelt. And that's okay. But we have to be able to recognize it and let it go when it's time to let it go.
And that's just it, when it's time to let it go. And there will be those times to let it go. And a great existential quote is, are you living for self? Or are you living for others?
It's great.
And it's really accurate because if you're living for self, that means that you really have self-worth.
You're taking care of yourself.
You're taking care of yourself. And that should be, again, taking care of yourself should be number one this year for everybody. Taking care of yourself. We all went through a lot in 2022.
Assess your mental health as well.
Absolutely assess it.
Provide yourself a safe space mentally.
Mm-hmm.
What's your mental safe space? So I know we have like a meditation room, or we have a little spiritual development circle room, or whatever it is. Create a safe space. I said this today on my show. In the space that you're in, whether it's in your office, whether it's a bedroom, living room, have things around that your eyes can see that make you happy. Whether it's objects, whether it's a picture of Kellee White, whether it's a Buddha, whatever, my books, paintings,
or a birdhouse.
A birdhouse, which Kellee said birdhouse crystal. It's an amazing birdhouse, by the way. I want to. And I'm in the middle of constructing where it's going to go, so I have
Good. I can't wait.
It'll be great. Yeah, I don't think Kellee knows this. I put a whole bunch of bird feeders on my property and have some birdhouses.
I love birds. I'm such a bird person. Well, everybody, have a great week.
Have a great week. Make a difference with this year.
Make good choices.
Make good choices, and good luck with the assessment. That's very valuable.
Yeah, really is. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
James and Kellee Show.